Incoming GOP Congressman fears Democrats will downplay FTX scandal, calls for thorough investigation. First off, I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're spending time with your family and enjoying today. Um, I don't really think there's going to be a thorough investigation. There's too many people too many Democrats, a couple Republicans that's in the whole part of the whole FTX scandal. This money laundering, the Democratic money laundering scheme through aid through Ukraine. You know, I covered all this stuff before. I'm not too optimistic when it comes to anyone getting in trouble over this. I believe he's going to get away. Um, SBF is going to get away with what's going on here. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. And when you hit that alarm bell, you can change it from personal to all. That way you get all notifications from when I'm putting out stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. Has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. And there's also a link to my Instagram where I put out even more news. All right, let's talk about this news. A newly elected GOP representative from New York said that he worries that the Democrats will try to downplay potential campaign finance and securities law violations by former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, using a lame duck session of Congress before the new Congress is sworn in. And that's what I think is exactly going on. They're trying to hurry up and rush this through so nothing can happen because there's so many people implemented in this. I mean, you got Maxine Waters and a whole bunch of other Democrats and then even one Republican. I can't remember the Republican name that he got his hands in on this as well. But this is basically Democratic money laundering. That's why when all this stuff was going on with President Trump and Trump was looking into the whole Ukraine stuff, this is why they were fighting so hard against him to look into this stuff because that's where they hold all their money. It's in Ukraine. I mean, even some of the leftist papers talked about this in 2014, 2015, even 2016. They called it one of the most corrupt countries in the world. So it makes sense that they would use Ukraine to launder money through. But Republican George Santos, who won New York's third congressional district, flipping the seat red, joined his congressional colleagues by calling for a thorough investigation when the new GOP Congress takes over next year. I apologize. I'm storming here where I'm at. So if you hear if you hear that noise, that's just thunder. But the spectacular collapse of FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange that is headquartered in the Bahamas, which filed for bankruptcy on November 11th, have left around a million customers and other investors facing total losses, billions of dollars, losses of billions of dollars. Since then, reports have emerged that Alameda Research, a crypto hedge fund established by Bankman-Fried, was trading billions of dollars from FTX accounts without clients' knowledge. That is totally illegal. And I don't understand how he just shows up everywhere. SBF, he shows up everywhere, just like, oh well, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Dude, you was running a Ponzi scheme and you took the money from people's pensions and things like that they put into FTX and you put it in a whole nother thing. You're not allowed to do that without letting people know. I mean, I, I mean, this is like 101. This is finance 101 when it comes to this stuff. So you knew what you was doing. You was intentionally breaking the law. I don't care how many apologies you give or how many speaking engagements you go on and apologize in your apology tour. You knew you were breaking the law. The House Financial Services Committee said last week it plans to hold a hearing in December to investigate the FTX collapse. It said it expects to hear from companies and individuals involved, including Bankman Fried, FTX, and Alameda Research. Again, why are they pushing this stuff so fast? Just because they're trying to get ahead of this before the new Congress gets in. Committee Chairwoman Maxine Waters, and if that's not the Fox Garden hen house, but Maxine Waters said in a statement that the United States needs, quote, legislative action to ensure that digital assets entities cannot operate in the shadows outside of robust federal oversight. And I think again, and they're going to be using this to control the whole crypto thing. This is they're trying to reel it back in. So even though cause they got busted, the Democrats ain't never let a crisis go to waste. So I think they're going to take this crisis and use it to bring in more regulation to control the cryptocurrency in the crypto industry, so government have more control over that. But Santos is not convinced that Democrat-led committee will take robust action. Quote, Waters has signaled that she's not going to investigate Bankman-Fried and FTX as a class. So I'm a little concerned that the Democrats right now, as lame duck in Congress, will deflect the issue between now and the start of the new Congress. Santos, who is attending leadership meeting for the GOP this week, told the Epic Times. That's something I'm very interested in investigating, he added. Santos, who worked as a financial advisor and has asked for a financial service committee assignment, said that, quote, accountability is mandatory and absolutely necessary. Nobody should get away with this with impunity, he added. Again, I'm not too optimistic. I think they're gonna sweep this under the rug. He might get a slap on the wrist, but he got so much protection. He shook hands with some of the most powerful people in this country. Santos made news last week when he called some planned investigations by the House GOP, such probes of stupid 19 origins, Dr. Fauci handling of the pandemic, and Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings, hyper-partisan issues. When speaking with the Epic Times, Santos clarified his remarks, saying he was fine with any investigations, but that as a freshman legislator from New York with a background in financial services, he thought he could leave those decisions in the hands of party leadership. Quote, I'm not opposed to investigating. I don't think you'll find someone more interested in investigating Hunter Biden and Anthony Fauci than I am, said Santos. But I leave that to the senior members of Congress who know how to do those things better than I do. Santos said that for him, these weren't his main issues because he felt better versed in financial economic matters. The incoming congressman confirmed that he has asked for assignments in both the Financial Services Committee and Foreign Affairs Committee. But Santos, I have to say, this is a financial thing. If we need someone to look into the finances of Dr. Fauci and his connections to the CCP, we need someone to look into the finances of Hunter Biden, his laptop, and how he's getting money from the CCP as well. Like, I don't understand how if you're concerned about finance, the money will if you follow the money, you will find the corruption there. So I don't know why you kind of poo-pooing those things off. But I digress. He says, quote, we don't have the power to just pass legislation, but we also have power to hold people accountable, Santos said of the FTX scandal. The FTX matter has taken on added urgency given that Bankman-Fried was the second largest Democratic donor for the 2021-2022 election cycle, donating over $38 million to various Democrat-aligned PACs, with another $999,000 going to individual members of Congress. And I covered that already in other videos. And many of the donations came from foreign addresses in Nassau, capital of Bahamas, and Hong Kong, according to an analysis by the Epic Times. According to data by the Federal Election Commission, of the 182 donations made by Bankman-Fried this election cycle, 2 donations came with no address. So how do you have these donations with no address? This is supposed to be clear. Everyone's supposed to know where this money is coming from. How do they have no address? And then you got 16 donations came from Hong Kong addresses, aka China. 68 came from U.S. addresses, and 96 came from 2 addresses in Nassau, Bahamas. It's legal for American citizens to donate to campaigns from foreign accounts, said attorney John Zackham, whose practice areas include federal election law. Quote, if he tells you that he's a U.S. citizen living in the Bahamas, there's no prohibition against him making a contribution, Zakim told the Epic Times, adding that once a campaign checks that box, they only worry about the funds clearing the bank, and that's true. They don't care who's it coming from. There is also no prohibition against Bankman-Fried having donated money to those in Congress who regulate the financial service arena. Maybe there should be. Maybe there should be something against that. The Washington Free Beacon reported this week, citing FEC records, that Bankman-Fried and his colleagues at FTX donated $300,351 to 9 members of the House Financial Services Committee, which, with some of the largest contributions being made to Democrats on the committee Digital Assets Working Group, which worked on regulation of the cryptocurrency. See, they're washing hands. They're taking this money and giving it to these people that's on these committees, that's in charge of these regulations, so they don't mess with them. That's why I believe he's going to get away with this, because he gave up too much money to these people, the same people that's in charge of regulating and investigating these type of issues. It's definitely an ethics issue. It's this nexus, right, between Bankman-Fried and the committee members that makes Santos concerned that Democrats might try to downplay the scandal in the upcoming investigation. We'll see what happens with this. You know, I'm going to be covering it. I'm hoping that the parties that's behind this get locked up, because how does $1 billion like this just disappear? And why do you take people money from one account and put it into a whole different thing and not even let the people know? People lost millions and millions of dollars. And I really do think he's going to get away with it. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, happy Thanksgiving. Peace.